Venice Canal Chase. This is LEGO Indiana Jones set 7197. This construction block set consists of 404 pieces, or if you want to count like the guys on Rebrickable do, 420. The set was released in 2009 for about 40 euros. Nowadays you have to pay at least 80 euros, so the price doubled. As the name already suggests, and as you obviously can see, the set depicts the boat chase scene from the third Indiana Jones movie, The Last Crusade. I thought these days YouTube is flooded with reviews about the new 2023 Indiana Jones sets, and to see something different, I thought, why not build up one of those older sets? But of course, I'm also going to build the new sets. Indiana Jones sets are always cool. Well, as you can see, I don't have the box anymore. The set is in used condition. But not having a box also means you need less space and storage, so that's the point. I don't care about boxes that much anyways. I think, as you can see in the building instructions, there used to be several numbered bags with the bricks inside. That means there are different building sections. I think, let's have a look. Yeah, there were 3 different types of bags. So bags with the 1 on it, with the number 2 on it, and with number 3 on it. I got 3 bags here, but I think that's just a coincidence. I doubt that I sorted the bricks according to different building sections. But that doesn't matter. 404 bricks, that's something you just can throw on the table at once, and you won't waste too much time with searching for the individual bricks for the individual steps. The building instructions is typical for LEGO, like we are used to it from that time period. So we get to know which bricks we need for each step, and then we are shown how to place them. There's nothing special about it, so we shouldn't have any problems. And at the end, there are some instructions how the play features of the set work. So that's neat. And I always love to see some old advertising. Maybe I'm going to play this old video game once. I haven't played it so far. Okay, but now it's time to empty these bags, and then I will start the build. I reached step 11 of the first sub-segment of the third segment of bag 1. That's a bit complicated to count. Well, and what I wanted to show you is this little rat here. It's the only set that I have which contains this rat, but it was used from 2001 to 2018 and appeared in over 70 sets, so it's not very uncommon. But it's a funny little feller. I guess nowadays we got another rat. I don't know. And have a look at this. Yeah, I think it's a manhole cover. There is no clutch power at all. It just sits on top of this little construction here. I'm quite sure that's because of a play feature here. I guess Indy will be able to just get out of this manhole like this. Hello. Back to step 4. This 10 by 6 by 2 curved cockpit part appeared since 2004 in almost 50 sets. But this is the only set where I got one of these pieces. And there are only 2 different sets where this piece appears in this reddish-brown color. Back to step 20. I want to show you one of the play functions while we still have access to the underlying mechanism. So as you can see here, we got this little brick built button, and when we push it down, the boat splits into 2 parts. So the rear part is connected to the front part via these 2 blue Technic pins and this Technic axle. Well, the Technic axle doesn't hold the whole thing in place, but it plays a very important role. Because when we see here our little button, it has on its underside this red inverted slope. And it sits in this hole here. And when we push down the button, this inverted slope pushes away the Technic axle, which sits at the bottom of the hole. Let me reconnect this to have a better look. Oh man, this doesn't work very well with just one hand. Let me try with the other hand. Maybe this is better. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the Technic axle is sitting down here. And now when we place the inverted slope above it, the Technic axle holds the whole button up here where it is seen before we have pushed it. But when we push it down, the slope pushes out the Technic axle in this direction. And we have to push with enough force so that the pins will also pop out. And I think that's a neat little mechanism. That's a cool idea to do it this way. Oh, I start to destroy the boat again. Okay. And this is really cool done. Back 3, step 25. I like this printed 1x4 tile used here. It depicts some controls. This tile was used from 2003 until 2020 and appeared in almost 50 sets. It first appeared in a train set, in a cargo train, and yeah, it really looks like it comes out of a train set, but it also fits quite nicely into our little boat here. Back 3, step 27. Placing the windshield, like shown in the building instructions, doesn't work that way. This is wrong. You can't place it like that. So have a look here. The windshield sits on these 2 studs. In the building instructions, it only sits on half of those 2 studs. In the instructions, the windshield also goes above this 1x2 tile here, which it doesn't in our build. When I try to do it like shown in the instructions, this would be like this. So now, or like this. So now it touches the 1x2 tiles on both sides and only sits on half of the stud. of the studs here in front. But you can't push it down because there's too much material in the way. You can't interlock the windshield between studs. You have to place them on studs. It's the only way possible. And it's the same windshield as used for the other boat. But in this case, the building instructions were correct. The windshield was placed on the studs in the instructions. And not like shown here at the second boat. That's odd. So I just had a quick look at the front cover of the building instructions, and there we can see that it doesn't sit between the studs, it sits on the studs, but not on the ones I have placed the windshield on, but the next row of studs. So the whole thing should like this. And now the windshield also touches those 1x2 tiles. Bag 3, step 33. The build is complete. Well, then let's have a look at what we have assembled. So we got these two boats here, one with Elsa Schneider and Indiana Jones. The other one is the boat with one bad guy. The other bad guy stands on this bridge, on which one side we got this landing stage, and on the other side there's this manhole where Indy emerges from the Venetian underworld. And we got these two poles here. Well then, let's have a look at the minifigures. As you can see, the minifigures are more or less identical. The minifigures of the bad guys, they just have different faces. But I think it's quite crazy that we got these weapons here. This is the most insane Lego weapon I know. It's a machine gun. I don't think we ever got another Lego series where we got these kind of weapons. That's nothing Lego normally does. That's crazy. Well, then we got Elsa here. Come on, Elsa. Yeah, it's a cool print on both sides. One thing I don't like so much, underneath her hair we can find a second face on the back side of her head. And I'm not a fan of heads with two faces. You just can't use them with base caps or even without anything sitting on the head. You always need to cover the second face with hair or something like that. And here's... Oops, Dr. Jones, come back. Here is Indy. He also got a gun and his whip. And he wears these hair here, but you can't just put this hat on top of his head instead of the hair piece. And we got this map here. I think it's quite a cool map. A treasure map. Alright, then let's have a look at the boats. I showed you the play function of this boat before. We just press down this button and the back of the boat gets fired away. We can simply reconnect it and start the same thing again. The second boat, we can press down this black plate over here, and then this part of the boat should be ejected, including the whole motor. Bam! So here's one part of the motor which gets thrown out of the boat. Here you can see the rest of the motor still sitting in the boat. And yeah, these two parts of the ship just pop off when we press down this plate. So I think it's quite easy to see how the mechanism works. Bam, whoosh. That's quite cool done. Let's reassemble that. It's just lying inside the whole construction, so it isn't interlocked anywhere. And these tile plate constructions just sit above the whole catapult thing. Okay. Yeah, I've shown you the manhole here, so there isn't really much to say about it. And here is the fourth play function. We can destroy this landing stage by simply pushing down these tiles here. So you see it's the same catapult function as we have seen at the last boat. Nothing too special, but it's still fun. So we could place this fella over here, and when we push down the tiles... Whoa, what was that? Where did that come from? Oh, I think I interlocked the landing stage too well. This goes here, and I have no idea where the other plate has landed. Well, I will search for it later on. As you can see, we got a really cool little playset here. It's much fun. And I think you really can relive the whole boat chase scene from The Last Crusade. I had to search several minutes for the tile that just flew away, but luckily in the end I could find it, and so I was able to reassemble everything, and it really looks nice. This is a neat set, and it's so much fun to play with it. I really love it. Maybe it's not the best set to use as a display set. The bridge is quite rudimentary, and I don't know, there could be more buildings around it just to have a bit more of a diorama feeling, but nevertheless, it still looks quite interesting with those boats. And as a playset, it's perfect. I mean, we got a lot of play functions, and it's always fun to have boats. And 2 boats. That's cool. And 4 minifigures. So, to play with it, there is really enough in the set. I don't know if there are nowadays still kids who love the old Indiana Jones movies and so are interested in these Indiana Jones sets. But if there are these kids, then for them, this set is just perfect. The price is another thing. Back in the days, 40 euros, I think that was a bit expensive. 30 euros would have been a better price. But 80 euros nowadays for a used set, hmm, that's that's a lot of money. But those are just the Lego prices these days. So if you're willing to pay that much money for 400 something bricks, then yeah, I think then you get a nice set to play with.